single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
Hey everybody, it's Kulipup here. I thought I would do, it just called to me in this moment to share a little bit with you guys the very first writings that I had when I first discovered I was claircognizant. Because like very many people right now, we're going through this huge transition. A lot of times when we go through a transition, we feel very lost. We feel a little confused. We don't know where to go. And we start seeking signs and looking for ourselves outside in the world when we forget to kind of turn inwards. And because we are going through a transition, a lot of people are realizing the world around them and waking up to their being. But yet still, and they are seeing, and when I say seeing, I mean you're seeing, but it can be really hard to navigate or decipher what it is you're seeing. So I just wanted to, I've done this before, and I know I have these videos on YouTube, but I just wanted to read the first 2 pages that I wrote when I first discovered I was cognizant, because I'm going to encourage many of you to do the same. In this moment of transition, you really do need your guidance, the guidance of your higher consciousness. And for those of you who are not aware as to how to actually contact your higher consciousness or get a clear signal, this is a great way to do it, because a lot of the seers and Orstinant individuals are awakening right now. And so I really, really recommend getting a notepad and pen and starting off on your automatic writing. Because not only is it going to help give you clarity in terms of guidance and learning how to trust yourself, but it's also going to give you a reminder as to why you're here, right? As a light worker, as a being of love and joy and peace and truth and development. We are not simply here to work, pay bills, and die, which is what I know everybody, society kind of wants to tell you. You know, our lives are focused around being born, going to school in order to get a good job, in order to make a lot of money, and in order to fulfill the illusion of success that is placed upon us. But really, that doesn't resonate with our hearts. And this is why so many people go off course, right? Why so many people find and achieve that so-called success, and yet still don't find happiness in their day-to-day lives. Why so many people chase that dream of success, yet still don't find happiness in their daily lives. So, I'm going to read these to you to hopefully trigger you into maybe discovering a little bit more about yourself. All right? And it definitely was a good reminder for me as to why I'm here too. So, the first things that I wrote. Now, this is a journal, my very first journal from back in November of 2017. And this was my very first entry. Now, please bear in mind, I was a total atheist at this point. I did not believe in a more out there than what science was able to explain, because I had rejected all religion because it didn't resonate with me. I thought it was hypocritical, and I thought, well, you know, if science hasn't explained it yet, it will explain it at some point. But oh my goodness, was I ever wrong. So just bear in mind that I did this with an open mind at the time, being an atheist. So of course, I was quite shocked. So, the very first entry that I had. my mind was clear and I just put pen to paper and I didn't have any expectations of what was going to come out. Personally, I actually thought it was just going to be a bunch of gibberish or gobbledygook. I wasn't expecting actual words, but this is what came out. Where did this all come to pass by? Because something is about to happen. Because this is the first time this has happened to me. How is it that time cannot exist in this dimension? However, what is it that is fascinating is that some other guys have what it takes for them to make it in this game of wonders and excitement. I wrote that paragraph. I was shit surprised and shocked and scared out of my life. I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't write this. I did not write those words. And that's when I was just like, holy shit, what the hell is writing? Personally, I thought it was, you know, when the Ouija board and it moves for you and you're like, what the hell's talking to me? So I got a little bit like, so the first thing I thought was, I'm like, I'm going to test this shit. So I asked the question, what do I want right now? Right? Because I was thinking, you know, tell me what I want. You know, if you know me, or if you know all, like, who the hell is talking to me? And the answer was, what you want is the ability to walk the path of righteousness, because the crown of glory is the prize. Now, at the time, being an atheist, I heard the term righteousness. So the first thing I thought was God and biblical stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Right? But that was the truth. What I truly wanted was to walk the path of righteousness. And righteousness, the first thing I thought was, I thought about righteousness in terms of the biblical sense. You know, being righteous to God and everything like that. And that actually put me off because I didn't believe in any of that. So I actually had to Google the true definition of righteousness, which is to simply to live genuinely in a straight line according to you, or to just right to you, righteous to you and your path, right? I really needed that reminder at that time because I was not walking the path that was right for me. I was walking the path that society had put out for me, which was making me sick, which was making me depressed, unhappy, and suicidal at times. Right? So that really was what I wanted. Now, fast forward to a couple of days after when I was just like ready to try this again after being a little bit creeped out. So I tried it again. So 2 days later, I picked up my pad and my pen once more, and I thought, okay, let me see what else comes. Maybe that first time was a fluke. Who knows? But I, like many people, was in a position where I was seeking myself without truly knowing. I was seeking guidance to understand what I should do to get out of this sorry state of life that I was living, even though it was the pinnacle of success to everybody outside of me. And this was truly, it is a reminder for me today, but it was also what shook me into understanding what it was that I needed to do to help me get through this transition. And this is what I wrote. This is the time to be going out on a limb. Therefore, I will make the land fertile. Thereafter, I will bring all of mankind to its knees. This is the word of God, of me. How can it be that all I want from me is to find the right word to make sure I am the right person for this job? Now, with that, you can imagine I was very, very creeped out. I was just like, the word of God, of me? What the shit am I writing? And at that point, well, now I look back at it and I reflect that I am God, right? And these were my words. These were my words to myself, ensuring that me, in this avatar, in this vessel, that I was the right person for this job. Just as you, the God that is you, is the right person for the job of your own righteous path that you need to do. But anyway, imagine me being a little bit creeped out right now. Again. So the first thing I asked was, what is the job? Because I'm like, what the frick are you asking me to do? The answer was, the job is the fact that I don't know about how the world is right along the path of glory, and how it is that all I want to do is find happiness inside of this shell. Maybe I should just end it all. But that would be unfair of me. So I can't do that for now. But I will always think of a reason to be upset, because the world is yet to come to the knowledge of what we are. I was a little scared at that point. So the words changed. It said, I don't want to frighten you, but why can't you see that we are one person in one body doing one's things? And then it switched. Outright blasphemous mongrels like beasts at the door. I stopped writing at that point. I got really scared. When I was in my lower frequency, I got very, very scared, and I was like, what the hell? Like, what is this? What is coming out of me right now? And I took a moment to calm myself, and then I continued writing, because my curiosity and my drive to know more at this time overcame the fear of whatever was going to come out. So this was the next thing that I wrote. When I put the pen back to paper, because when I look into the mirror, I see what a beautiful woman you are, and I cannot fathom why you think differently. So I was looking at myself from outside of myself, going, why do you think differently? And so I was curious at this point, because I had always thought that I loved myself, that I was taking care of myself by following this path of success. You know, look at what I produced in this time. So I asked, I'm like, well, how do I do that then? You know, if you see such a beautiful woman and you're telling me that I don't see a beautiful woman, then how do I do that then? And the answer was, you start by loving yourself. And then I answered, I was just like, but I thought I do love myself. The answer that came back was, yes, you do think that, but one does not know what loving thyself feels like truly. And it was right, I didn't. I didn't understand that I was neglecting myself and my health. I didn't understand that loving yourself truly meant taking care of yourself, doing what it is that you are called to do, not what you were told to do, right? So then I got curious, though, because the way the words were coming in were different from the way I spoke, right? And so then I asked, why are you speaking in old tongue? Because it sounded very, very like, you know, one does not know what loving thyself truly feels like. You know, I was just like, what the hell? And the answer was, because that is the era I liked best. Old Shakespearean times when women had class and men had courage. At this point, I was just like, okay, I must be crazy. And I said, so the question I posed was, how do I know you're not just my imagination? Because I was again really like, what the hell's happening? So how do I trust? And I was asking again, how do I know you're not just my imagination? How do I trust without proof? Right? Because I was so used to science giving proof for everything, or what I was told was proof. So that's what I asked. I'm like, how do I trust you without proof? The answer was, proof is irrelevant in the eye of God. But since you don't understand that yet, I will give you stuff. And so I then said, yep, that'll definitely do. And then after that, I became curious, and I asked loads of questions. My ears started to ring. I started to get this wealth of energy coming about, and within 2 weeks, I had filled this entire book with questions and answers that I gained. I got guidance. I learned about number synchronicities, teleportation, the ethereal. I learned about hieroglyphs. I learned about visions. I learned so much within the first 2 weeks of me discovering a basic skill that I had of claircognizance. And from that moment on, I found my path. And so while all the world is transitioning, I'm able to do it swiftly and smoothly because I finally found the righteousness within my own being, within my own way of living, within my own way of seeing. Right? So, I don't know who that may have helped for today, but I do hope that it has inspired you to maybe look at your world in a little bit of a different way. Open up your mind, open up your heart, expand yourself, and try some automatic writing. Speak to your heart. See what clarity you gain to help you walk your righteous path. All right. Bye, sweetheart.